Hey everyone, I am Meet Bagdev, a product manager on the SQL Server and Azure Databases team. In this video, you will learn how to get started and make apps with Python, Java, C#, Ruby, Go, or PHP using SQL Server installed on Linux. We will also view the results using our latest cross-platform tool, the SQL Operations Studio, which can help you manage SQL databases from Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. Now let's look at what our connectivity landscape looks like. As of today, we support client drivers for C#, Java, C++, PHP, Node.js, Python, Ruby, and Golang from the OS of your choice, and this includes Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. We are always looking to expand this landscape, and if there is a language that you use and is not on this slide, reach out to me via email and we can talk. Do note that a lot of these drivers, namely TDS, PyODBC, TinyTDS, and GoMSQLDB, are community-driven projects. We work very closely with the community to contribute to these projects, and a special thanks and mention to their authors, Michael Kleehammer, Arthur Schreiber, Dennis, and Ken Collins for their work. Let's double-click into each of our client drivers. We make it a point to make sure that all these drivers are supported on the package manager of each language. For example, our Java driver is now open sourced and available on Maven. Our PHP driver is also open source and available on Peckle. Node.js TDS driver is available on NPM. The Go driver is available on GoGet. Python driver is on pip, and our Ruby driver is on Gem. So all you need to do is open up your terminal and pick your favorite language and go run with the package manager. We often hear from customers, and they often ask us, this is cool, but how do I get started? Is there something that walks us through the process from end to end? Well, lo and behold, we have created a getting started guide that helps you get started with the language of your choice, with the OS of your choice. Let's take a look at this getting started guide and walk through a few examples to see what this process looks like. All right, so this is the getting started guide. Let's say you're a Java developer and you want to build an app with SQL Server on Linux. All you really need to do is go to this website, again, aka.ms/SQLdev, hover over Java. It's going to give you 5 options and it'll ask you what OS you are on. In my case, I'm going to be running my Java application and SQL Server on Ubuntu. So I will go ahead and hit Ubuntu. Once you do that, it's a 3-step tutorial. The first one will kind of walk through setting up your environment. What this means is it's installing SQL Server, the Java driver, some of the required tools. The second step is actually creating the Java application, kind of the application that connects to SQL Server, executes query. And the third step is how to make your Java app faster. Over here, we will walk through one of our hero features called Column Store, and we'll kind of walk you through how to create these indices using Java and how to optimize your query performance by up to 100x. So let's walk through the tutorial. I come here, the first step is install SQL Server. This is pretty straightforward, kind of walks through how to register our repositories, add our key, do an apt-get install MS SQL Server. Once you do that, you kind of set it up using MS SQL Conf. Then you have to install Java. Once you're done installing Java, you install the JDK, which is required to run your Java apps. Then you install Maven. Check Maven is installed or not by running maven -v. And at this point, you have SQL Server and all the necessary tools required to create your first Java application with SQL. Then you move on to step 2, and it'll tell you how to create your first Java app using Maven. All you would really have to do is kind of copy-paste this command, paste it in your terminal, run it. Once you do that, you have to edit your pom.xml file. Pom.xml file is the file where you can put the library references that you plan to use. In this case, we plan to use the JDBC driver, so I just went and copied the blurb and put it here. In this case, we're using 6.2.2, that's the version. This is totally up to you. You can control the version. If there's a later version, you can just go ahead and update that and rebuild, and you would be good to go. Once you do that, go ahead and save the file. And then this is where you start writing your Java code. What the script does is something super simple. You give it a connection URL. In our case, we're going to connect to localhost, so that's all you would say. And then you would kind of print connected or not. So you would do a try catch. If you're able to connect, you will print it's connected. If not, you would print out the error trace. Then you would run Maven to build a project and create a jar package. And once you do that, you can run Maven exec to actually run your app. And if everything works as per plan, it will tell you connecting to SQL Server and done. So this was pretty simple. We didn't really do much, and you'll probably ask me, how do I actually write some queries? How do I insert some data, read some data, so on and so forth? So that's pretty simple. That's what I'll show you here. So this is what we call our CRUD example. What we do in CRUD is we connect to SQL Server, we create a database, in this case SampleDB. Then you create a table, schema inside it, insert some records, update a record, delete another record, and then just read out what the final set of results look like. So let's say if you were to run this on your machine, all you would really have to do is copy this code sample, run Maven package again to build the jar. And once you're done with that, just run Maven exec, and it will tell you what worked and what didn't. If everything goes to plan, this is the result. These are the results that you would see. At this point, you would have created your first Java and SQL Server app with Maven. Further in this tutorial, we also teach you how to use one of the most famous Java frameworks called Hibernate. Again, all of this is tightly tied to Maven, so you don't need to do anything special. Just copy and paste these commands, and it'll just work for you right out of the bat. So I'll just quickly scroll through it. Very similar, you'll have a pom.xml file, which is where you would specify Hibernate, which is the dependency. You have a code sample. It's a simple user's object that you would create. Once you're done doing that, run Maven package, build it, and then you did exactly the same CRUD sample that you saw above, but using a framework instead of pure SQL queries. So that was a framework and a simple Java application. The next question we often hear is, this is cool, but how do I use SQL Server features? So one of the features, famous features that we often talk about is column store. And you can use column store indexes with your Java application. And in this example, what we would do is we would create these indexes to make your application with 5 million rows run almost 100x faster. So we do kind of a before and after. And if you want to see what that looks like, it's pretty simple. You are inserting 5 million rows into a table, which is called table with 5 million rows. Once you're done doing that, you would run a query without column store index. You would measure the time, and then you would create a clustered column store index on the table, and then you would run the same query and measure the time. What you will notice after running Maven package is that you'll get up to 50 to 100x fast. In my case, on my machine, I got a 70x improvement. So this was Java. I actually want to do a live demo for you guys, and I'm going to use the Golang, which is one of our newest additions to our landscape. We have a Go driver, again, available on all platforms. So I'm quickly going to jump into my Ubuntu machine. So let's do that. Go ahead and log in. All right, so I am on an Ubuntu 16.04 machine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to install SQL Server. Put in my password. It will ask me if I want to do it. I said yes. It's unpacking the SQL Server package. This is a huge improvement to what the install experience would have been on Windows. As you can see, we use apt-get, which is the default package manager on Linux, to install SQL. And within a few seconds, you have SQL Server installed on your Ubuntu. Next, let's go ahead and set it up. For this, I will use the SQL Server configuration manager called mssqlconf. It will ask you what edition. I'm just going to pick one. It will ask you for a password. This is your SA password. Once you put in the password, it'll take a few seconds to configure your SQL Server. And bingo, it says setup is completed. SQL Server is now starting. At this point, we are ready to go. I'm going to jump into our newest tool, the SQL Operations Studio, and set up our database so that we can go write a Go app against it. The first step I'll do is I'll connect and it will give me a prompt, and let's say I'm connecting to the local host. And once you're done connecting, you're basically good to go. So let's go ahead and create a database called SampleDB. Go ahead and use it. Create a schema, and we're going to call the schema test schema. Next, we will create a table called employees. It's just got 3 fields. It's got an ID, name, and location. Once you do that, go ahead and insert 3 rows. We're going to insert Jared, who lives in Australia, Nikita, who lives in India, and Tom, who lives in Germany, into this table. Let's go ahead and give that a run. And just to make sure everything worked as per plan, we will run select query and verify. All right, there you go. So we just used our latest tool, SQL Operations Studio, on my Ubuntu machine to run a few queries against a SQL Server, also running on Linux, and the results are right in front of you. At this point, we are ready to go and make our first Go app. To do this, the first step is get the SQL Server Go driver. So to do this, we will use Go Package Manager, go get. It'll take a couple seconds, and as you can see, that worked. We will go ahead and give it an install. All right, perfect. So at this point, you have installed the Go driver that lets you connect to SQL Server. Now, let's move on to the code sample that actually does the CRUD operations. So like we saw for Java, this is a very simple example. In this, I will basically go ahead and change my connection string. And once you do that, you go ahead and run a bunch of queries. In this example, we're going to create a connection pool. It will help with performance, create an employee. And for that, we will use the create employee function, read employees from the table, update an entry, which in this case would be Jake, delete an entry, and then reread all the results. So if we're ready, let's just go ahead and run this example. To run, all you really need to do is go run crud.go. Seems like my login failed, so let's see what's going on. I did not save my file. Let's go ahead and give it a run one more time. All right, perfect. So it says connected. We inserted a new record. We read all the records to make sure the record was successfully inserted. Then we updated one of the records, and then we deleted one of them. So in a matter of few minutes, you have installed SQL Server, set it up using our latest GUI tool called SQL Operations Studio, installed the Go driver, wrote a very simple Go script, which connects and does a bunch of CRUD operations. If you would like to do this for any of the other languages, I highly recommend jumping back to our website. As you can see, you can do the same for C#, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, and of course Go, as you just saw. This website also has plugs for some of our other sites that we've created, one of them being our machine learning services that I highly recommend checking out. For example, if you want to build a predictive model using Python or R, we have tutorials for that as well. And while going through all this, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ping us in our chat room. We do have a Gitter chat room, and it's pretty active. A lot of activity on there, and we monitor it pretty much on a daily basis. So feel free to shoot us any messages there, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, thank you so much for watching, guys. Call to actions: if you guys want to look at these tutorials, the getting started link is aka.ms/SQLdev. Give it a shot. SQL Server 2017 is also available on Linux now. Go ahead and give it an install. We have more Connect videos on Channel 9. Link is on the slides, and you can continue watching more education videos on our Microsoft Virtual Academy. If you guys need to reach out to me, feel free to shoot me an email at meetb@microsoft.com. My Twitter handle is meet_Bagdev, and my GitHub username is meet-Bagdev. A lot of the samples that I just showed you today should also be on my GitHub. Thank you so much, and see you guys soon.